back. The big story, Google has reacted on the hefty fine imposed by Competition Commission of India. Google said that they remain committed to users and developers in India and are reviewing their decisions to evaluate next steps. Google also added that Indian developers benefited from the technology and keeping costs low. Google's model powered India's digital transformation and expanded access for millions of Indians. Remember, CCI had imposed two hefty fines back-to-back of rupees 1,337 crore and rupees 936 crores, all within 7 days. The matter pertains to Google demanding app developers to mandatorily use the Google Pay billing system for receiving payments for apps distributed or sold through the Play Store. We have Anuj Agarwal, a tech expert, joining us on the story. Mr. Agarwal, welcome to the show. Of course, second penalty as far as Google is concerned, especially in the last 1 week. In question, of course, is unfair business practice by the tech giant, despite repeated warnings and fines. So what is your take on it, and how do you analyze this whole situation?
See, Google is definitely in a dominant position in this country as far as the Google Play Store is concerned. The number of Android users, which is a Google platform, is in far excess of 95% in this country. And there are so many small developers, especially when the government is also putting a lot of focus on the startups. So they have only one method for publishing their apps is the Google Play Store. Now, Google is using its dominant position to force all these developers and everybody else using these apps which are hosted on the Google Play Store to use their own payment method. Now, this is something which is totally against the law. This is what Google has been told multiple times by the regulators, that they should play by the rules, although they are doing a good job of creating an ecosystem by which a lot of small and the startups can reach out to millions of people across the country and even across the globe. But it does not mean that Google can utilize this dominant position to enforce certain things and take others out of market. For example, UPI. Now, UPI is a very good platform for the payment exchange in this country. And it is being accepted even in Middle East and some other countries. But on the Google platform, nobody can use the UPI for making payments either to Google or ensuring payment through their apps hosted on this. So I think the regulator is correct, although it is a decision which has been taken very late and the penalty is very small, keeping in mind the Google is such a giant and they are making huge revenue and profit out of this country. But still, it is a notional thing that they have been told by the regulators that they will have to play by the rules and nobody is above the law, whatsoever is position in the market.
Right, Mr. Agarwal, you said that, of course, Google is in a dominant position and it is misusing its dominant position, forcing developers to use their services and payment methods and so on. So clearly, this is against law, which is why the regulator imposed these fines. But the question is, what kind of checks and balances can be brought in place? How can these activities be monitored and flagged off efficiently? Because you just said that this was a delayed response as far as regulator is concerned. It's a good response, but it's a delayed one. So how can this be effectively done? How can these activities be monitored more effectively?
See, the law provides the authorities to go for a suo motu investigation in any complaint of dominant position, or even if there is no complaint, they can go and investigate unfair trade practices. But probably since there is only one regulator to take care of all sorts of industries, and digital industry is one of those. So I think they should have a regulator for digital industry, because the issues here are very complicated, very technical in nature, and requires a different kind of expertise for any regulator to really go into it. So it is very important that the time has come that we not only have a regulator overall, which is already there under the Competition Act, we should have a digital regulator under the Competition Act exclusively dealing with the issues relating to the digital industry in this country. And in any case, we are a superpower, the software superpower, we are putting a lot of emphasis, and we have many unicorns coming up in the digital sector. So it is the need of the time we should have a dedicated and an expert regulator who has the power for the suo motu investigation in such matters.
For digital industry, exclusively for digital space, so that suo motu, cognizance can be taken of such activities, is what Anuj Agarwal is telling us. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal, for joining us with all your insights on this story. So Google misusing its dominant position. In fact, it has perpetuated its dominant position in the online search market, resulting in denial of market access for competing search apps, which is why the regulator has imposed these fines.